This is Claude Code, an AI agent that lives in your terminal, reads your code base, writes real code, and ships actual features. In the next 20 minutes, you'll go from a blank terminal to running background agents, custom skills, hooks, MCP servers, even Claude reviewing your pull requests on GitHub. Fully updated for 2026. No fluff, no theory dumps, everything hands-on. Here's the map: 3 levels. Beginner, Power User, Pro, 10 chapters, and everyone builds on the last. Let's start at 0, getting Claude Code on your machine. First, what actually is Claude Code? It's not a chat window, and it's not autocomplete. It's an agent. You give it a goal, and it reads your files, plans an approach, edits code, runs commands, and checks its own work, right in your terminal. And you stay in control. Nothing happens without your permission. Think of it as a teammate that types very, very fast. Let's install it. On Mac or Linux, it's one line. Pull the install script from Claude.md and pipe it to Bash. Done. On Windows, open PowerShell, and it's the same one-liner. The native installer keeps itself updated in the background, so you never chase versions. Prefer a package manager? Homebrew and Win get both work. Just know those don't auto-update. Not a terminal person? There's more than one way in. The VS Code extension gives you Claude in a sidebar with inline diffs, and it works in Cursor too. There's a JetBrains plugin for IntelliJ, PyCharm, and WebStorm, and a full desktop app for Mac and Windows. And if you don't want to install anything at all, Claude.ai/code runs sessions in the cloud, straight from your browser. For this course, we'll live in the terminal. It's where Claude Code is at full power, and everything you learn transfers to every other surface. Now sign in, run Claude, and it walks you through login. 2 options. If you have a Claude subscription, Pro, Max, or Team, just log in. Claude Code is included. Or connect an Anthropic console account with prepaid credits and pay per use. For most people, the subscription is the simpler deal, and that's it. No config files, no keys to paste. Time for your first session. Move into a real project and just type Claude, you're in. Now ask something useful. Give me an overview of this codebase. Watch it explore. It lists files, reads the important ones, and comes back with a map. The stack, the entry points where everything lives. Type /help to see every command. And when you're done, /exit or Control-D. One more trick before we move on, you don't have to enter a session at all. Claude, quote, fix the failing test, runs the task and exits. Add -p for a read-only question, like a pipeline. Claude-p, which files handle auth, you'll use this constantly in scripts and CI. Setup's done, but the real power move in Claude Code is the permission system, and that's Chapter 2. Chapter 2, before any advanced tricks, you need the rhythm of working with Claude Code. It's 3 beats: you ask, Claude acts, you verify. Ask well and everything downstream gets easier. Compare, fix the bug. Versus, the login form crashes on empty email, find the cause and fix it. Specific goal, clear scope. Now the part that makes Claude Code safe to trust, the permission system. Press Shift-Tab and you cycle through 4 modes. Manual mode, Claude asks before every file edit and every command. Slowest, safest, perfect for your first week. Auto-accept, file edits and safe commands just happen. Anything risky still asks. This is where most people live day to day. Plan mode, the power move. Claude explores your code and proposes a full plan, but touches nothing until you approve it. Big refactor, always start in plan mode. An auto mode runs with background safety checks. It's a research preview. Know it exists, use it later. Made a mess anyway? Nothing is precious. Escape interrupts Claude mid-action, and escape twice rewinds to a checkpoint. The code snaps back to before the last change. Checkpoints are automatic. Every edit Claude makes is a save point. Experiment boldly. Undo is always 2 keys away. 3 commands keep long sessions healthy. /model switches the brain mid-session. Opus for hard problems, a faster model for grunt work. /context shows what's filling Claude's working memory. And when it's cluttered, /compact summarizes the conversation and frees the space. You can even focus it. Compact, focus on the API changes. That's the loop, ask precisely, pick the right mode, verify the diff, and rewind without fear. Next, teaching Claude your codebase with Claude.md. Chapter 3. Every session, Claude starts by reading one special file, Claude.md. Whatever you write there becomes standing instructions, your project's house rules. Don't write it by hand, run/init. Claude analyzes the codebase and drafts it for you, build commands, conventions, architecture. What belongs there? Commands Claude can't guess, like how to run your tests. Conventions, like we use snake case, and a short map of the architecture. Keep it under 200 lines. Shorter files get followed better. There's a hierarchy. Your personal file in home.claude applies everywhere. The project file is shared with the team through Git, and Claude.local.md is your personal override, get ignored. Big mono repo, drop a nested Claude.md inside a subdirectory. It loads only when Claude works in there. New in 2026, path-scoped rules. Files in .claude/rules with a paths field on top. The rule loads only when Claude touches matching files, testing rules that appear only for test files. And Claude now keeps its own memory automatically. As you work, it writes what it learns into a memory file, your build quirks, past debugging decisions. Run/memory to see everything loaded, instruction files, rules, and what Claude remembered. It's all just Markdown. Edit it, delete it, own it. The payoff compounds. Session 1, you explain the project. Session 50, Claude already knows it. It reads the rules, remembers the traps, and codes like a teammate with tenure. Set it up once. /init today. Next up, turning your repeated workflows into custom commands with skills. Chapter 4. Anything you find yourself asking Claude repeatedly deserves to become a command. In 2026, those live in one place, skills. A skill is just a markdown file. Folder .claude/skills/your name. File skill.md. Instructions inside. That's the whole system. Let's build one. A deploy checklist. Run the tests, check for stray console logs, verify the end file, then summarize what's shipping. Save it and /deploy checklist is now a command. Watch, /, and Claude runs the whole ritual. Skills also trigger themselves. Claude reads every skill's description at session start. Mention deploying, and it loads your checklist on its own. Want a skill that only you can trigger? One line of front matter, disable model invocation, true. Now it costs 0 context until you call it. If you used custom commands in 2025, .claude/command still works. But skills are the standard now. Same idea, more power. New this year, chaining, type 2 skills in one message. /review PR, /write tests do both for this branch. Claude loads both and runs them in order, up to 6 at once. And you don't have to write everything yourself. Plugins bundle skills, hooks, and connections. Install a marketplace plugin and its skills appear in your session. Rule of thumb, the third time you type the same request, make it a skill. Next, the feature that changes how you work entirely, Subagents. Chapter 5, the one that changes how much you can do at once. A subagent is a second Claude. Its own context window, its own tools, spun up for one task. Why does that matter? Context. Ask Claude to research a question across 200 files, and all that reading floods your session's memory. Hand it to a subagent instead. It does the reading in its own window and returns only the answer. Your session stays clean. In 2026, subagents run in the background by default. You keep working with the main Claude. A notification pings when the side quest is done. They nest too. A subagent can spawn its own subagents, up to 5 levels deep. One architect agent, delegating to specialists, delegating to workers. And you control the economics. Give subagents a cheaper model. A haiku reviewer costs a fraction of an Opus one, perfect for mechanical passes. Create your own in .claude/subagents. A JSON file, name, description, model, tools, and which skills it preloads. Say, use the security reviewer, or let Claude pick it when the task matches. Now the heavy machinery, /batch, describe one large change. Claude plans it, then fans it out across 5 to 30 agents, each in its own Git worktree in parallel. Rename a function across 90 files, migrate an API. What used to be an afternoon is a coffee break, and every agent's diff comes back for your review. One more for the curious, agent teams. Independent sessions that message each other, experimental, know it exists, reach for it when subagents aren't enough. Delegate the reading, parallelize the mechanical, keep your own context for thinking. Next, making Claude Code automate itself. Hooks. Chapter 6. Everything Claude Code does fires an event. A session starts, a tool runs, a file gets edited. Hooks let you attach your own actions to those events. The mental model is one line. When X happens, run Y. And Y can be a shell script, an HTTP call, or even a prompt for Claude itself. 3 hooks that pay for themselves. Number 1, post tool use. Every time Claude edits a file, your linter runs automatically. Claude sees the errors and fixes its own style violations. No more, please run the linter. It's not a request anymore. It's a law of physics in your project. Number 2, pre-tool use, the guardrail. Before any command runs, your script inspects it. Git push to main, blocked unless you confirm. This is how you let Claude move fast and still sleep at night. The dangerous paths are fenced off in code, not in trust. Number 3, session stop. When a session ends, post a summary to your team's Slack. What changed? What needs review? Hooks live in .claude/settings.json. Event, matcher, command. Commit it, and the whole team inherits the automation. Start with the linter hook today. 1 entry, permanent payoff. Next, connecting Claude to everything you use. MCP. Chapter 7. The most requested topic on this channel. Out of the box, Claude Code sees your files and your terminal. MCP is how it reaches everything else. 60-second mental model. MCP is a standard plug. A server exposes tools. Query this database, post this message. Claude discovers them and uses them like its own. One protocol, hundreds of servers. Let's connect one. Servers are declared in .claude/mcp.json. Type, command, or URL done. Run /mcp to see every server, its status, and its context cost in tokens. Keep an eye on that number. Every connected server has a price. Authentication used to be the painful part. Now, Claude MCP login. The browser opens, you approve, and expired tokens refresh themselves. Now, the 5 servers actually worth connecting in 2026. Ranked. 5. Figma. Claude reads your design file and builds the component to match. Spacing, tokens, everything. 4. Slack. Triage a thread, summarize a channel, or post your deploy notes, without leaving the terminal. 3. Postgres. Claude inspects real schemas and writes queries against your actual data. No more guessing column names. 2. Browser control. Claude drives a real browser, clicks through your app, reproduces the bug, verifies the fix. Your QA intern automated. And 1. GitHub. Issues, pull requests, reviews, CI results. Once connected, look at the failing check on PR12 just works. This is the one to set up today. One warning from experience, don't connect 20 servers because you can. Each costs context. Connect what you use this week. Add the rest when you need them. MCP is where Claude Code stops being a coding tool and becomes your command center. Next, running it everywhere. Your server, your browser, your phone. Chapter 8. Claude Code isn't glued to your laptop. This chapter, the setups that let it work where the work is, including while you're away. The classic, a VPS. SSH in, install with the same one-liner, and run Claude inside tmux so the session survives when you disconnect. Why bother long tasks? Kick off a big refactor at your desk, close the laptop, and the server keeps grinding. Reattach from anywhere. Tmux attach. The session's still there, mid-thought. No server, the cloud version. Claude.ai/code in any browser. Sessions run on Anthropic's machines. Pick a repo, give a task, close the tab. There's an iOS app for checking in from the couch. Now the magic trick, remote control. Start a session on your desktop at the office. On the bus, open the web. The same session, running on your machine at the office, driven from your phone. And it works in reverse, teleport. A session you started in the cloud, pull it down into your terminal with Claude-teleport. The context comes with it. One more surface. Slack. Add Claude to your workspace and mention it on any bug thread. At Claude, fix this. It reads the thread, works in the background, and comes back with a pull request link. A bug report becomes a PR while you're still in the meeting where it was reported. Pick the setup that matches your life. Server for long jobs, cloud for zero install, phone for keeping things moving. Next, wiring Claude into your team's GitHub permanently. Chapter 9. Everything so far lived in your terminal. Now we wire Claude into the repository itself, where it works for the whole team. Setup is one command, /install GitHub app. It installs the app, writes the workflow file, opens the PR, merge it, and your repo has Claude on staff. From now on, any issue or pull request can summon it. Comment, at Claude, implement this. And it reads the issue, writes the code, and opens a pull request. Same on a PR. At Claude, why does this test fail? It reads the diff and the CI logs and answers in the thread. Then there's the always-on layer, automatic code review. Every new PR gets a review. Bugs, edge cases, security smells, before a human even looks. Your teammates' reaction the first week. Who is this reviewer that never sleeps? And close the loop locally. Before you even push, run /code review. Add --fix, and it applies its own findings to your working tree. Going deeper, building your own bots on this machinery, that's the Claude Agent SDK. Full course on this channel soon. One command today, install the GitHub app. Your team gets a tireless reviewer by lunch. Final chapter, the 2026 Pro setup. Final chapter, let's tune the engine. In 2026, you're choosing between 3 brains. Sonnet 5 is the default. Fast, sharp, and with a 1 million token context window, it holds your entire codebase in its head. Opus is the heavy thinker for the gnarliest problems. And with fast mode, you get Opus quality at much higher speed when you need it. Haiku is the economist, reviews, mechanical passes, subagent swarms. Then there's effort. /effort tells Claude how hard to think, low for boilerplate, X high for the bug that's haunted you for a week. Higher effort, more thinking, more tokens. My working setup, Sonnet as the daily driver, effort on medium. Opus on X high for architecture and nasty debugging. Haiku for every subagent that just executes. Now put maintenance on autopilot, scheduled agents. Every night at 2 a.m., triage new issues, update dependencies, flag anything suspicious, and leave a report for your morning coffee. You wake up to a repo that cleaned itself. And that's the full stack. Look at the map, install, and the core loop. Claude.md teaching at your code, skills for your rituals, subagents for scale, hooks for guardrails, MCP for reach, running anywhere, reviewing on GitHub, tuned models on a schedule. You're not using an autocomplete anymore. You're running a team. If this course earned it, subscribe. Every chapter here has a deeper dive coming on this channel. Drop questions in the comments. I read all of them. See you in the next one.